Hi, welcome to Just Common Sense. My name's Brian Harrison, and I got Jose here in the studio, and I got Jerry on the other line. Hey, guys, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great. Hey, so Jerry is down in Alabama right now, and he actually had a good dinner tonight. We're going to talk about that. Go ahead, Jerry. Tell us what you did down there, what food you went for, and everything else.
Man, they have a absolutely fabulous barbecue place down here in Alabama called Dreamland Barbecue. And not only did I go to Dreamland Barbecue, but we went to the mothership. We went to the original location that's been around for over 60 years, like 61, 62 years, something like that. And man, I got to tell you, it's hard not to overeat there because everything's so good, you just want more. And so went down there, and this place, I got to tell you, they're trying to modernize, and so they have added air conditioning. So
Wow.
I want you to think about that, man. That's how good this place is. They've been around for all that time, and they recently added air conditioning. So
Wow.
I should tell you.
That sounds great.
And what you have there, actually?
Man, they have all the sides you can think of, as far as like the macaroni and cheese, baked beans, stuff like that. They got fantastic banana pudding. And it's like, I always get that. It's got the vanilla wafers in it and everything. And then they have these giant plates of ribs, and their barbecue sauce is like off the chain. If I wasn't flying, I was going to bring a couple jars of sauce home, but I can't have that busting in my luggage. So, but yeah, this place is unbelievable. And they actually have a couple in different cities around Alabama. So like if you ever see Dreamland Barbecue, just stop and eat there. But if you're anywhere near Tuscaloosa, where University of Alabama is, you got to go to the original one. So.
Wow, that sounds great. And guess what? My wife and I, we ended up going to Ted's Montana Grill here in Durham tonight, and it was really good. It's a lot of bison there. They have a lot of bison. And then again, we have Jose, which is starving over here because we found out he did not eat dinner.
Well, I got some here, that help me out. So I'm doing keto right now for a few hours.
You should give him some breath mints or something, Brian. Give him something to eat.
Oh, he needs some breath. Oh, guys, hey, look, guess what? Do you see? No beard.
Yeah, when I saw that, I wasn't even sure it was Jose.
Yeah, he's trying to grow it back again. I saw it without it the other day. Now he's got a little bit more hair, beard growing back.
It was a little accident that I had with it, so I decided just to shave everything off and start all over again.
So before we start the show completely, what accident did you have?
Well, I started using a product here that
Nair?
No, it was oil. And then you have to with the blower, you have to like brush your beer, right? So what happened? I burned all my beer.
That sounds like Nair to me.
Yeah. So yeah,
you got in your wife's Nair instead, didn't you? And then what blower did you use? Did you use a leaf blower or what?
Just her blower. I do it all the time, and I see all the smoke coming out, the smell, and
when there's smoke, you stop. Oh gosh.
So yeah, so I have to shave the whole thing and just start all over again.
Were there flames?
In my bathroom, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so just a little
smoke, fire,
just a little smoke. Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
You didn't go to the emergency room. No burn marks anywhere.
Mentally speaking, I went to the emergency room. Yeah, my wife had to help me out. Oh, my beer. Well, all good.
So to summarize, in one word, oops.
Oops.
I was thinking more like ow.
Yeah.
That sounded painful. He
back.
lost his beard. I'm getting one, so there. Mine's only going to stay so long now.
No, mine's coming really long. Just give me a year. You will see. We'll be done.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to have to get that thing shaved off again. You look great right now. All right, whatever. I can't call him Achman anymore. That's the sad part. Anyway.
Yeah, it just wouldn't make sense.
Oh, I know. Anyway, let's go on with the show. Guys, we've got a very serious subject tonight we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about COVID vaccine mandates. Again, COVID vaccine mandates. First of all, we heard that there's an order out there trying to stop it right now. Sounds like it halted it for a little bit. It's going through courts right now, but it's still not at the Supreme Court where it needs to go because that's the main court that can stop it. Everything else it's just practice. It's just going through processes. And you've got, it seems like half the country doing this. The governors are doing the right thing. Look, I want to say it. We are not against vaccines. However, we are for freedom of choice. Again, we're for freedom of choice, and it's your choice if you want the vaccine or not. It's your choice to handle your kids in school, by the way, which is another problem they're having out there, but we're going to not get into that whole thing tonight. But it sounds like the government wants to take over everything, and this is crazy. So let's talk about one thing, because this is one thing that was said today. The White House said this. The White House tells businesses to proceed with the vaccine mandate despite the court order. Again, proceed with the vaccine mandate against the court order. Basically, it's absolutely...
Now, Brian, here's a problem with that, though.
Yes, go.
And one of the big problems with that, so the White House comes out and tells all these companies that they should go ahead and do the vaccine mandate before the court decision is made. So what they're saying is, we want you to go ahead and do something that may turn out to be an illegal action, but if you do it before it's illegal, then you'll probably get away with it. But one of the big problems with that is that if the courts decide that it's not a legal decision to mandate a vaccine, many of these companies are going to be liable for lawsuits for, millions, tens of millions of dollars for forcing something on their employees that turns out not to be legal.
Right.
And what may also happen is if these companies go ahead and do that while the court decisions are still being made, we already see the ramifications of underemployment out there, with signs in just about every window saying, now hiring and help wanted and everything like that. Well, people might start quitting. And so, you may be losing more employees, and you may be putting companies out of business in the long term when these lawsuits start coming in, if it is upheld that it's not constitutional and it's not legal, but companies have already done it.
Right. No, I'm right there with you on it. And why are they pushing these vaccines so hard, especially with these people that don't want to get vaccinated? That's, again, their choice. But if they don't want to get vaccinated, the people that are vaccinated, why are you so worried about it if you're vaccinated then? Common sense, people.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because we're seeing a lot of people that are vaccinated with these catching COVID on top of it. We're hearing about it. We're seeing it. Look, let's talk about something Jose saw today, and I've heard about this morning. First of all, I was listening to the news.
Hey,
this
Brian,
morning.
Before you go there, I want to throw an answer on your question.
Go ahead.
Why are they pushing the vaccines? Because many of these politicians and their friends and their family and, business cronies and things like that are heavily invested in these vaccine companies.
Right.
And so, one of the reasons they're pushing it is for reasons of profitability, not only for themselves and their own investment accounts, but, they're basically they're doing something very edgy. As a matter of fact, Martha Stewart went to prison for insider trading. And, these politicians are basically doing insider trading.
And just to bring something up here, Pfizer COVID vaccine has been the most lucrative medical treatment in history. Come on, people. Don't be so naive that they're coming here just because they love you, just because they want to help you. No, it doesn't work like that, people. Wake up. Wake up. Like I was reading the other day, places that they are not mandated to be vaccinated. So the White House, CDC, FDA, the OMS, Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson.
And the border.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up, Brian. Come on.
Correct.
Well, we know why the border they're not making them get vaccinated. You know why, Brian, right?
Yeah. Go on.
Because Jen Psaki, the president's press secretary, or in short, mouthpiece, basically the other day when somebody asked her about that, she said, well, because they're not planning on staying very long. Oh. Well, I've got to dispute that, because you don't pick up from your home country, load your whole family up, disrupt your entire life, go to a foreign country in the middle of the night, paying a smuggler to bring you into the country, money that you're probably going to take decades to pay back if you ever can pay it back. You don't do that if you're not planning on staying.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, these people aren't coming for a weekend trip to Disney.
Jerry, I lost you.
I'm here.
All right. Cut out for a minute. Jerry,
Yep,
you back?
but,
You there?
yeah, but these people aren't coming for a weekend trip to Disneyland. So for her to say that it's, they're not staying long, that's ridiculous. And anybody that believes that is probably stupid enough to have actually voted for Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine that she lived in Venezuela, and I asked her, "Hey, by any chance, you know how much it is to come to the States?" And it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And those that come from Venezuela they aren't the poor one. They are the one that has the money to come over. So you think they're gonna leave everything behind, pays this thousands and thousands of dollars, cross the border? You can die doing that. Right, and then I just coming for a few months and coming back.
Hey,
It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, and we're also seeing lots of fentanyl drugs and everything coming across the border. How many more terrorists are coming across that border as well, sneaking in with this? How many? I mean, how many more people are coming across?
And how many of these kids have been,
go ahead.
Trafficked? Like, for example, you've got, a cartel member that traffics a kid in,
Right.
And when that kid gets trafficked in, they've actually found the same child with subsequent people later on. They're using the same child to smuggle different people and claiming that, this child belongs to this person. And it's the same one that belonged to somebody else last week and somebody else the week before that.
Right.
And, so it's just despicable what's happening down there.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about one thing, too, with Joe Biden's America, as he calls it. He wants to unify everything. So far, I'm going to bring up his polls, first of all. The lowest in history. He's at 38% as of yesterday. Harris is at 28%. Those two act like there's nothing going on. Let me tell you guys, there's a reason.
Well, there is nothing going on.
Right, I know. But let me tell you guys what's going on here. We're talking, the Americans are talking, the people of this country are talking and saying, you guys aren't listening to us. That's why your polls are so low, and they don't care because guess what? They think that you work for them. It's the opposite. These guys work for you. You're in charge of what's going on in D.C. And for those of you who keep voting for these clowns, look in the mirror, blame it on yourself. Like we said earlier, change parties. If it's not the Republican Party, fine. Go and get out of the whole thing and just vote, but go to Libertarian, whatever the case may be, and leave this whole thing because it doesn't help to stay there. If you're going to complain about it. Well, and that's an
interesting point, Brian, because so many people are afraid to leave their party because they think if they leave one, they only have one other choice. I think if they're a Democrat and they get rid of their Democrat Party membership, they have to be a Republican. They think if they're a Republican and they leave the Republican Party, they have to be a Democrat.
Of course,
and they're not thinking of the options that you just brought up. That hey, you can leave the Democrat Party and become a Libertarian. You can become an independent. You can, become non-affiliated to a party and just literally register as unaffiliated. So, if somebody's out there and they're disappointed with their party, please, by all means, look into leaving your party.
Right.
And as you don't have to just become so if you hate Republicans, hey, then that's on you. But if you hate Republicans and you just can't see yourself ever registering Republican, then go unaffiliated. Because if the Democrat Party is letting you down, which they are, that doesn't mean you have to be a Republican. You can do something else.
Exactly. And this is not about, it's only either Joe Biden or Trump. And we don't criticize Trump here. We are the first one to criticize the Republican Party all the time, especially Trump. There are many policies that I don't agree the way that he handled it. And I think you have good points that those way that Trump handled many things here. It's just about common sense, people. And what is happening right now with the Democrat Party and Biden and Kamala and all those Pelosi and all those people, that everything they're doing, every decision they make is just to ruin the economy and just bring a total crisis. Everything is a new crisis. Every week a new crisis here, a new crisis there. You heard about
the new crisis keeps your attention off of what they're not accomplishing.
Exactly. You nailed it there.
Right.
You heard the new things now about the pipeline that they want to close now.
Yeah. I heard about it.
Again in winter, expecting one of the roughest winter in years, and you're planning to do that again? Come on, people.
Well, I've actually got an interesting question. It's going to sound a little off topic at first, but it's actually very on topic. Brian, you were just talking about how, Kamala Harris's polls are down, Biden's polls are down, everything like that. When's the last time that any of you saw Kamala Harris in public doing something? It's been at least a couple weeks for me.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. Matter of fact, I did get I saw a tweet today. She was actually in Paris right now.
Oh, she was? Okay.
Yeah, I did see that. She's talking about that. She's been on Twitter a lot because that's where everybody likes to speak. But that being
that's
said,
where the twits are. And those are the ones that voted for.
But anyway, I did want to bring a few things up because, first of all, we were talking about a couple things. I wanted to go back because the night show is really on the vaccine. And
right.
It's really on this. So I want to talk about a few things. And we're going to go to some more stuff with Biden and the polls and stuff too in a minute. But what I do want to talk about is these kids getting vaccine at the age of 5 and getting boosters next. When's this going to stop, people? When's this going to stop? Because this virus, just like any virus, it's going to mutate. And I've said it before, when a virus mutates, its purpose is to weaken itself, not to kill the host, because it wants to live. And that's what most viruses do.
Exactly.
Sometimes people want to go ahead and they want, I don't know where I was going to go. I heard Jose here, got me off track. But anyway, it's a serious problem. I mean, what's going on out there? But these viruses do mutate, they weaken. And I've heard this from several doctors. For some of the people that are vaccinated, when the virus gets in you, they try to find another way around it when they're in a person that's vaccinated. And I've heard rumors that they're the spreaders. So you never know what's going on here. Let me tell you something. Jose's wife's doctor, MD. And I'm not going to get too far into this, but you know what she said about all this. And go ahead. You had a question.
A few things that she wants to bring over here is that viruses, when they mutate, they get weaker. They don't get stronger, right? So we're talking about this Delta variant and all this. So things are not making any sense here. Another thing that she brought out this morning is like, all right, honey, so 99% of the kids survive this virus. It could be the Delta, could be anything associated with COVID, right? The vaccines, they're 91% effective. So what is the point of getting the vaccine then? This doesn't make any sense, right? So,
well, it doesn't make any sense to you and I,
right?
But one of the things that it does make sense to is to people who want to be in control, because what they do is they get us programmed and they say, oh, you have to have this and you need this. And, without it, you're not going to live. And so we're like, oh, thank you, great benevolent government for saving me. And it's like, so then the next time they come up with some sort of mandate or, whether it's a medical mandate, a legal mandate or something like that, then we just go like sheep without even questioning it. And so if they start these kids off at 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 11 years, and they're just used to following everything the government does, because obviously the government would never do anything bad, and it's like, so now they're programmed to just think that, anytime the government tells you to do something, you should do it.
These are these baby steps that I've talked about. Mm-hmm. One step, you're up to 10 steps, you're looking down, you're like, it's a little far down there now. I'm a little nervous. I'll just keep doing what the government says. And I've talked about it. It's called conditioning, guys. By the way, at the end of the show, I want you guys to stay on, because at the end of the show, we're going to come up with a new name for the Democrats, and it's going to need to spread just like this Brandon thing spreading across the country. We need to go at them hard. We need to fight back. It's our time to fight back. If they're going to play dirty, we need to play just as dirty. And I hate to say it that way, but let me tell you something. Some of the Republicans aren't any better. We had 13 Republicans this week that bombed out on everything when it came to this bill, and they're still going through hell with this bill right now. And let me tell you, these 13 Republicans, you need to look in the mirror and see what you did. See what you did. It is all on you, and that's exactly where it is, and that's bad. And you're going to be remembered when it's time to revote for you guys. So bye-bye. That's what's going to happen. You guys are going to be voted out of office. We're only 1 year away, guys. 1 year. And guess what? You're going to learn your fate of your job, because it's going to happen. And there's a red wave, as they say, going across this country. and hopefully it's going to go the right way. There's still issues in New Jersey. I did see that. I'm getting off the subject for a second, but in New Jersey today, they're going to do a recount. They're pushing for a recount, and they should. They should. There was something that I heard about yesterday that they actually found a lot more votes on a truck, and they're going to try to get those counted in, which could change everything up in New Jersey. We'll see. I'm not sure about that, but again, why wasn't this recounted in the beginning? I mean, when it's that close, it needs to be recounted on either side, and that's only fair. I did want to bring up one last thing. When it came to what's going on right now, they were taking a poll about Biden in 2024. Actually, they were showing that how many people would vote for him in 2024 right now, 29%. 64% said no. By the way, they talk about Orange Man. Guess what? They said if Biden and Trump went at it right now, Trump would win because what's going on. And people are really upset that they didn't just stay with Trump, some of them. Now, I'm not doing this because, we like Trump or not. I'm doing it because these are facts. This is what's out there, guys. This is what's going on. And you know why they keep talking about January 6th up there? Because they're trying to get your mind off of this. Exactly. They don't want Trump back in office. They're trying to condition you. They're trying to get your mind off of, well, guess what? You're smarter than them. We see it in the polls. Time to wake up. Time to fight back. Don't back down at all, no matter what is said out there. Do not back down. And let me tell you, if this happens and all of a sudden these people are out of jobs because of this vaccine mandate, well, these ships that aren't the only thing that's going to be sitting offshore. Let me tell you, there's going to be so many people out there, and we're seeing it with nurses and even doctors right now, who have left their job because they know that they choose not to get this vaccine. And the reason they don't want to get it is because it's not been out there long enough. They're seeing some bad side effects. As the governor in Florida actually had a lady on yesterday. She was up there talking. She got the one shot. She was in the hospital. She almost died. Now, again, I say you could take an Advil and die. Things can happen, or aspirin, or whatever the case may be. Things can happen, okay? You could take a flu shot and die. But, again, this stuff's going on a lot. And it's not being reported. There's a lot of things out there. I've heard a lot more and more out there about it. And, again, we're not against vaccines. Go ahead.
Wasn't there somebody famous in the last couple of days that may have had a negative reaction to the vaccine?
We talked about the governor in California, right?
Did we talk about that?
You talked about it already.
We haven't talked about that yet.
Go ahead, talk about it.
We were talking about that before the show.
Okay, go ahead. I think in case we didn't, we're going to talk about it again. Go ahead, Jose. Well, Jose read about this. And then real quick, I will say for Jose, I heard this morning that the governor was not to be seen in 5 days out in California. Go ahead, Jose. You read it, and there's an article from a doctor.
It happens to be that 2 weeks ago he got one of the booster shots, right? So everything was in the media. You just Google it. You will find it. A week ago, so he just disappeared. Nobody have seen him. It happens to be that today there is an MD that posted something in Twitter saying that he got a very adverse reaction to the booster shot. And he's paralyzed, and he might get paralyzed from now on. So this is serious, people. This is not just a conspiracy. There's so many people that I know personally that have died after the vaccines, after the first one, the second one, and the booster. I know people have grown tumors. I got people have severe reactions. It's no people. Well, a friend of a friend. No, close people that I know. Okay, so we have to pay close attention, right? So it happens to a public figure right now. What is going to keep happening for you to wake up? This is not right. Something wrong with these vaccines. And like my wife always say, listen, you can develop the vaccine. It's fine. Now, testing the vaccine is another thing. You can develop a vaccine in 9 months, in a year. Yes, you can. Now, to go to the 4 phases and test the vaccine, it takes minimum 10 to 12 years minimum to try the vaccine. So something is not adding up here. All right. So,
by the way, the doctor you're talking about is Robert W. Malone, MD.
Thank you.
Robert W. Malone. Look it up on Twitter. He's the one that posted this out there. It was out there on Twitter today, and it's talking about the governor and him being injured from the vaccine. It was from the booster shot, by the way. I'm reading it now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So definitely not from a first shot or anything, because Jerry brought up something earlier about the governor. If he got the first shot, then he was lying about these shots. But however, it is the booster shot. So that right there actually scares me a little more because it's a booster shot. And that right there is kind of a problem. So it tells you that the boosters also need to be reworked and looked at on some of these things. So go ahead, guys.
Well, Jose was just saying a minute ago about how long vaccines take to properly develop. Correct. And go look for long-term side effects and long-term issues and everything like that. And how this one's been out for a short time. One of the bigger problems I have with that, in line with what Jose said, is of the 3 recognized major vaccines that are out there, 2 of them are a technology that was refused by the FDA for decades. What is it, mRNA?
Yeah, that's right.
And those were refused by the FDA as not being proper vaccine material. And so then when the Emergency Powers Act came in and they were allowed to work on other stuff, that's what they are using in 2 of the 3 vaccines, is the mRNA technology, which was refused by the FDA for approval for many decades. And now all of a sudden, it's just, oh, yeah, okay, let's use it. And so and we're wondering why we're having problems. Well, that was something that was unsafe. That's why they were refusing it.
This is what my wife was talking about tonight. We were trying to get the name of it. She was talking about, and you just brought it up, Jerry. So I have to tell her that's what she was talking about. We were trying to figure it out. Jose and I couldn't get the name right, but that's exactly what was going on. So, but anyway. So what else you guys got to talk about with this?
Oh, something I want to bring up about the vaccine. I'm sorry. I asked my wife, honey, what is a booster? She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. You get my point?
Are you asking? Or
I asked my wife, honey, what is a booster when it comes to the vaccine? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about, because a vaccine is just a vaccine, right? You don't get a vaccine and then a booster after the vaccine.
Yeah,
it's just a vaccine, period. So this doesn't make any sense here.
No, it's not. And just some of the stuff we're seeing out there just makes no sense at all. To get off topic, by the way, okay, guys, get ready to laugh. Everybody out there, get ready to laugh. Howard Stern said that if Trump runs in 24, he's going to run and he will blow Trump off the map and be president. Howard Stern said this.
Now, I will tell you why Howard Stern said that. The reason Howard Stern said that is because obviously his ratings are falling. And anytime somebody brings up Trump in a negative light, their ratings go up because people want to hear what they have to say. So Howard Stern must have seen his ratings go down. And so he's saying, I need a ratings boost. Let me go ahead and criticize Trump.
Yeah, well, I'm not a fan of Howard Stern's. Never have been. I don't like the guy. He's been had a lot of issues over many, many years. He's really, I don't know, kind of a sleazeball in my opinion, but that's another story.
I agree.
Yeah. So I just don't follow people like him.
He's one of those people that says so many things that occasionally he says something that's actually funny.
Yeah.
And that's what people remember. And, there's so many comedians out there that do that. They just keep talking. And then they occasionally say something funny. And then when they realize they had a good one, then they go, hey, remember me? I'm the guy that said that. And that's pretty much Howard Stern. I mean, he's, crass, vulgar, I mean, basically he appeals to a base mentality. He doesn't even appeal to, educated people.
That's right.
And so then, what happens is every once in a while he says something that people remember. And so now I have a feeling he was falling off. And so, I better, go out and find something that I can do to get me back in the limelight.
Right. No, I agree with you. And that we see a lot. Look at Saturday Night Live right now. They're actually posting things against Joe Biden. I've never seen that before. They're making fun of Joe Biden right now. I saw one the other night because they have no choice. What choice do they have? Their
Well,
boy,
they had
their
a
boy is
guy-
backed up in a corner.
Well, they had a guy playing Donald Trump the other night, a different guy, because normally Alec Baldwin comes on and
Yeah.
plays Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And so they had a different guy playing Donald Trump because obviously Alec Baldwin's got bigger problems right now.
Right.
And so I saw somebody come out and say that, what would really boost Saturday Night Live's ratings is if you had Donald Trump come on and play Alec Baldwin.
That would.
That would
And
be
that would be
epic.
great. That would be great. Oh, that would be awesome to see
As long as he
that.
doesn't shoot anybody.
Well, that would be Alec Baldwin, but
I'm pretty sure if
we'll
that
see how
happens,
that goes.
I'm sorry, if something happens, issue you. It was an accident. I'm pretty sure about that, right?
Yeah, accident.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that whole thing in Alec Baldwin, but that's another story to be said another night. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
So, guys, we got, we're going to go through a lot of these over the next couple weeks. We're going to be talking about this because Biden's trying to push this thing through. And so, anyway.
Oh, Brian,
What-
there is one thing I want to throw
Go
out
ahead.
there.
Go ahead. I was
know
gonna
that
come
we
up
had
with
talked
something.
about
Go ahead.
something earlier.
Sure.
Yeah, you had mentioned I'm traveling in Alabama this week, and so last night I went into a sporting goods store. Because when I travel, just if there's ammo that's not available, in my local stores, I look when I travel. So I went into a sporting goods store here, one of the big chains, and I was looking for ammo. And so when I've been out and about the last few days, I either wear my hat, my T-shirt, whatever, my Let's Go Brandon T-shirt. So last night I was wearing my T-shirt.
Yeah.
And it gave me hope for the future in our younger crowd, because when I walked in that store, I had multiple young people, not people my age, okay? I had multiple young people saying, "Wow, I like your shirt. That's awesome. Hey, great shirt," things like that. So I had multiple young people, late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, saying that they loved the shirt.
Yeah.
And then I went to the restaurant for dinner after the sporting goods store. Same thing. Multiple young people, early 20s, mid 20s. Hey, great shirt. That's fantastic. People
Yeah.
fist bumping me, high fiving me, so I got to tell you something. I think America is starting to wake up. I just hope that our system is not so damaged that their voice and their vote won't be heard in the future.
Right. Remember we had a discussion before the show, and I've been hearing about this from friends and all kinds of people out there talking about a new name for the liberals,
I hear something about
or the
that.
Democrats, I mean.
If it's the term I'm thinking of, man, I think that you were right on the mark with that term.
Yes. So, guys, we're going to go ahead. I want you to start spreading this out there,
Okay,
and we're going to spread it out. It needs to go across the country, because I'm going to tell you what. The reason why is because they are calling Republicans, and they are calling Republicans all kinds of names right now. They're calling Republicans terrorists. We're hearing it out there. Well, guess what? Jerry, you want to go ahead and say what we're going to start calling Democrats? It needs to go across the country. It needs to be cheered in stadiums and everything else, because it's time for us to fight back against this.
Well, we need to call them what they are. And we've been calling them socialists up until now because, that was the more polite term.
Correct.
And, we've been trying to be nice. But, socialist doesn't really describe what most Democrats are doing right now. And so the term that we need to start using is Marxists, because that's what they are. They're Marxists. And when you look at the draconian laws they want to put in place, the draconian mandates they're trying to put in place, and it's like that is a very Marxist ideology. And so that's what we need to start doing, is we need to start calling them what they are. And they don't like that word because Marx was a very evil man and they don't want to be associated with him.
Correct.
I agree.
So therefore, what we need to do is start calling a spade, and so, you know what? You're not a socialist. You're not a Democrat. You're a Marxist.
Congratulations, Joe Biden. This is your unifying America, like you said. This is what you're doing to it. You're separating it. The worst president in U.S. history. Again, the worst president in U.S. history is Joe Biden. Go ahead.
And not only that, I'm sorry if
And he comes from another country, by the way, where he's seen this stuff happen.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yes. Oh, yes. And let me bring this up really quick. In Venezuela, Dominican Republic, where I'm from, Panama, we can smell the socialists from 1,000 miles, So everything
Communist.
and communist, everything that's happening here, we went through all that already. And for those people that I will call it even, I will bring a very metaphysical thing here for those people. I call them zombies because they don't think. They don't. They are incapable to questioning their own belief. I do question my belief all the time. You know, I'm not a person. Oh, I know everything. I'm right on everything. It's impossible for me to be lied upon. No, because let me tell you this. This is war. This is no war with a rifle, with bombs. Or this is a war, a mental war. It's a mental game. Very difficult to fight. Very difficult. So for me, the way I see those people, they're zombies and nothing more, nothing less than zombies.
That was the new word for sheep then.
Yep. Oh, by the way, the CDC last year posted a link about fighting a zombies apocalypse. That was back in 2020 on Halloween. I don't know what they're trying to say with that. It is related with the vaccine. Who knows? Who knows? Just conspiracy. But just put it this way: it's a mental game, people. And please wake up. We need to save not only America. We need to save the planet, right?
Yeah.
Because if America comes down, the whole planet comes down.
Wait a minute. That sounds like something. Oh, climate change? Wait a minute.
Oh, no. Well, climate change. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not go there because that's another subject for another day, though. But, Jerry, you have anything else? We've been on 36 minutes tonight. Not too long, but that's a good time.
No. I think tonight went well, and I think, that even though we took a couple of little side trips, that we pretty much brought everything back to the center, as far as the topic and the vaccine mandates and the legality of them and the ramifications of them, and how safe the vaccines are and or unsafe they are. And I just think people need to really step back for a minute. And like Brian said earlier, they need to do their research and they need to learn, what's going on, because too many people today flip a switch and turn on their television or, look at some, brief clip on their phone or anything like that and think they're educated. And no, that's not the case. You really need to go out and do some research and find out, what is mRNA and why did the FDA not approve it for many years? And, basically what does it do to you if you take a vaccine that is derived from mRNA? And why do we have to go, like Jose said, like 8, 10, 12 years for the long-term studies for these things? Because too many people are just doing it because they're told to. And, that's, the quickest way to work your way into a Marxist society. And basically Marxism is communism. And, when we look at, right now, what is the Democrat Party pushing? They're pushing, we want equal wages for everybody. They want, somebody that's working at McDonald's that literally flips burgers and empties trash cans to make $15, $17, $18, $20 an hour.
Right.
And it's like, well, at that point, they're going to be making as much as their manager.
Right.
Oh, wow, that sounds an awful lot like communism. If everybody makes the same and everybody gets the same.
Yep, exactly.
The next thing you'll be told what job you're going to do without you
what
wanting
kind of
to
car
pick
you
your
can
own
drive
job.
and how big your house can be and where you can go on vacation.
And something I want to bring up about research. I have a discussion with a very close family member. And I was saying, hey, the information about the vaccines is out there. Just go ahead and research. And here's the problem when you mention research to people. They have the dependency that the truth only comes from the government. Right. That he told me, oh, you do your research. You went and listened to a YouTuber talking about the vaccine. Ha, ha, ha. What kind of research is that? So we have this very even evil mentality that only the truth comes from big government. And who are you to question those scientists? Who are you? What is it you do? You don't have any science background. You can't question anything, because this is what happened with the vaccines. In the past, if you have an illness and you go to a physician, you go to 2 or 3, even 4 different opinions to go ahead and you want to see what treatments you want to get. Now, if you question the treatment, which is only the vaccine, what happens to you? Oh, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about, And that's the thing right now. We're conditioned to only listen to big government. Only big government has the truth. And when you say, do you research out there, and you mention, oh, I found this information here, I found this information over there, this scientist of this physician publics this information here and is telling you what the vaccines really are. Oh, is that it is something that the governments approve? So it is no truth, So we have to stop thinking that way, people. You gotta have our own mind to go ahead and do our own research and find out the truth. The truth is something individual that you do. It's not something that somebody tell you and you ingest, and it's not like that. That's not truth. That's control and manipulation.
And control is basically, utilized by authoritarian governments.
Big government.
And that's exactly what is happening right now. The truth only comes from big government and nothing else. And who are you to question that?
Right. And one thing before I forget, we were talking about the border right now. I do want to go back on that because there's something we talked about earlier. Look, they're talking about giving money to people that lost families, and they're not giving a time frame. They're trying to blame it all on Trump and all that, as we know. However, they're saying, okay, well, if you got separated from your family, we're going to give you $450,000 per person. And how long were you separated for? 5 minutes, 10 days, 20, whatever the case may be. And again, these are illegals, first of all. A lot of these parents have sent their kids over here without going with them anyway. That's a biggie right there. Why should they get money for doing that? That's another thing. And let's be real right now. Let's talk about soldiers, which I respect, law enforcement. I respect our military more than anything sitting up in that White House right now. But let me tell you something. If you're a spouse, a wife, a husband, and you lost your family member in a war, or military, anywhere overseas right now, especially when it came to failure of Afghanistan, and you lost a member of your family over there in war, are you getting that much money? $450,000? No. That is how much they care about you up there, because they're trying to get these votes. They're trying to get these people in. They want these people in because they want to get more votes. That's their way of getting more stuff accomplished for them. They care about themselves, and that's it. They care about themselves. Let me tell you something. This is why I bring up term limits all the time. They are public servants, nothing more. Public servants. And guys, we've talked about me trying to run here. I'm trying to get up. I'm going to run here. I've got to do this. I'm getting everything set up. It's a lot of work, more work than I thought. But again, what's important right now are the American people and what's going on in this country right now. That's what's important right now. Jerry, you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as the people coming across the border, there's a few things, and I know we've discussed a few of them in the past, but, one of the things is we keep hearing that, oh, well, we need these people, that there's jobs that Americans won't do. And so we need these people to come across. Well, we're not getting the best and the brightest sneaking across the middle of the night, right?
Yeah,
of course not.
People that were, highly paid accountants, highly paid attorneys, surgeons, things like that. Those aren't the people that are sneaking across the border to come into our country and help our economy.
Right.
The people that are coming across our border are people that couldn't make it in their own country. And so their own country is more than happy to let them leave so that they can, sneak in here, because now their own country doesn't have to pay for them. So, that's one of the problems that we have, is that we're not getting people that are going to improve our country. And the second thing is, what I mentioned was, as far as they're doing jobs Americans won't do. Well, the reason that some Americans won't do the jobs that they're saying Americans won't do is because we're paying them not to. We're giving people welfare. It's like, you know what? Welfare should be for somebody that can't work. They physically cannot work.
Right.
Whether it's, it's like, oh, you're missing an arm. Well, you're probably not going to be a professional baseball player then. So, it's like, you might need some assistance. But, I got to tell you something. I get really frustrated when I hear this jobs that Americans won't do. It's because we have so many programs that we subsidize people financially so that they don't have to work. And, the taxpayers are funding it. And now we're bringing people in from other countries to do the jobs that those people feel that is beneath them because they're getting a government subsidy. No, cut the government subsidies and tell these people, no, you know what? Hey, as of January 3rd, February 6th, you're not getting any more subsidies, so you better go find a job. And if anybody is caught here illegally, send them home. I mean, we have deportation laws for a reason. And, if they are somebody that maybe came here legally and overstayed a visa or something, maybe we can be a little more lenient with them. But for somebody that literally snuck into the country, broke into the country, crossed our border illegally,
right,
they need to be sent home.
Right.
I agree.
Right. Now, Jerry and I have had different views on this in the past. You can go to my first podcast, I think the first episode number 3 or 4, I've talked about the illegals and how to fix the problem. But the problem's gotten so bad right now that it's out of control.
It's totally
well, they're still throwing around that 11 million number, and it's far past that.
We can't even get to where, if we go back to my third podcast, my whole thing was for people who have been in this country for years. What I said is we should create hubs, do a year for them to become legal and go through this whole process. I said it on episode 3 or 4. That was before Joe Biden really got into all this. Now things have changed. Things have gotten really bad out there, and they've hurt the people who have been in this country, their children and stuff. Or I should say, they've hurt the people who have come in this country legally, who have gone through everything to become a U.S. citizen, which they're very proud of. And when they become a U.S. citizen, they're really extremely proud of being a U.S. citizen because they go through a lot of work to become a U.S. citizen. It's not just something they just sign a piece of paper and say, guess what, I'm a U.S. citizen. They have to go through tests and everything else. I'll tell you what, by the time they're done, they probably know more than half of us in this country about our own country, I'm telling you.
That's right. My wife just came a citizen, and she knows about the history of this country much better than many Americans, I tell you that.
I agree. Even I'll say she probably knows more than me about it for sure. So, Jerry, what's your thoughts there before we end this show up tonight?
You know what? Thank you to your wife for doing that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
For gaining her citizenship. And Jose, I'd like to thank you for, you and your family when you coming here legally, yes, and following the system. And it just must be so frustrating for somebody like you and your family to have done everything and gone by the proper rules and follow the directives and the laws and everything like that, to watch all these other people come in and actually be given things that you weren't even given,
exactly.
Simply for coming here illegally. And you guys came here legally and did it the right way. And, you're earning your own way, and you're, out there taking care of yourselves and your families and everything. That's got to be pretty frustrating for you.
Exactly. It is. And it's a topic that we talk all the time in my house. It is frustrating because doing the right thing, I will tell you, it's as difficult or more difficult and more expensive than doing the wrong thing.
Jose, I want to thank you for that. Gets his applause out there. Anyway, guys, any more to say? Because I'm going to show, and I've got something to say at the end of the show here.
Go ahead.
All right. Done, Jerry?
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, right. Let's say goodbye to all the Marxists.
Zombies.
Marxists.
I'm pretty sure some of them have already said goodbye to you.
Oh, yeah. Bye-bye. I don't care. But that being said, that I think that needs to go around the country. However, I do want to remind you guys, when you do this, anything like that, remember, yes, I'm going to start this whole Marxist thing out there, and I think that's what they should be called, especially the radical, all of them that are crazy right now. But that being said, spread it across the country, but do things peacefully. Again, yes, do things peacefully. Don't get into fights. Don't get rowdy. Don't take any of these shows or anything to people out, and don't take them out and say, okay, well, this is what's going on. We need to get... No, we don't fight like that. We fight when it comes to getting these people out of office. We vote them out of office. Yes, we're angry. Yes, we're upset. But when it comes down to it, we're all Americans, all of us. And some of these people that we're talking about tonight aren't Americans. Even though they were born in America, some of them, they're misguided. They're misguided, and they don't know what they're doing, and some are following along like sheep, or as he says, zombies. Again, why do I think of The Walking Dead?
Me too. That's what I have in my mind.
You're right, man. You're gonna. I can't. Sorry, it broke the whole thing up on the show because I think of The Walking Dead. It's one of my favorite shows. So I watch that thing, and it's coming to an end soon, which I'm sad about that. But I guess it needs to. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody out there. I want to thank our law enforcement guys. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
A lot of you right now have left your job because of these forced vaccines. Again, we haven't forgot about you at all. We haven't forgot about you at all. I'll tell you what, the Green and a couple of them up in D.C., they talk about you. I see the Twitter coming out constantly from Green. Jim Jordan some. Green's been fighting hard, and Ted Cruz has been fighting really hard. Their hands are tied because you get 13 Republicans who are basically, they're Democrats or Marxist. That'll be the new name for them too. But again, this is bad. It's bad. And people like that, thanks for fighting for the American people in this country. We definitely appreciate that. Keep up the hard work. We see you out there. Again, thank you for our law enforcement. We're not going to forget about you. I talked about this a minute ago. Thank you for our military guys. We know a lot of you have left the military because of this vaccine program. A lot of you have taken the jab because you have no choice, and it's terrible. You should have a choice. When it comes to our first responders, we're seeing it all the time. We're seeing doctors, nurses quitting. There's all kinds of protests going on out there in the streets with it. Again, peacefully protesting. We're seeing that. Thank you. They're not Antifa. We don't see that out of them. They're professionals. But again, guys, we hope you get your jobs back because guess what? Last year you risked your lives. Again, you risked your lives in these hospitals with these COVID patients without any help at all. You risked your lives, and guess what? After all this, they kick you to the curb like you're nothing. Heroes one day, failures the next. That's not the case. You're heroes to us. You always will be. The failures are the ones that are causing this problem right now, and it shows in their polls. Again, thank you for our farmers out there right now. We know a lot of things are happening right now with inflation. We see it. We see prices going up. It's making it more difficult on you guys as well. And truck drivers. Oh, my God, truck drivers.
That's a big one.
Truck drivers. We're hearing about it. I am so sorry you're having to double work and everything else. You guys are going through a lot, especially with these ships stuck out there. I have seen some ships starting to go through Florida. Thank you for the governor down there in Florida. You are great. You're a fantastic governor. I'd rather have you in that chair sitting in the D.C. right now instead of this clown. Guys, again, appreciate everything you guys do out there, and thank you for the people who are working and the ones that are sitting on their couch doing nothing, which I got attacked yesterday. And I'm going to go into that. I got attacked on Twitter, Facebook yesterday big time because I was posting stuff. Guess what? I saw pictures of these clowns, and they look like clowns. They were telling me how stupid I am and everything else. Guess what? I saw them with their pink hair and looking like a clown. No joke. It was funny telling me how stupid I am. I guarantee the reason why they're upset is because we're fighting back against it, and they're the ones sitting, oh, my God, I'm going to lose my free money I'm getting. That's exactly what they're doing because they can't get off their lazy butts and get out there and get a job. And guess what? As parents out there, if you're letting them stay in that house, kick them out and do the right thing right now. Get them out in the street and tell them, you better get a job and you better get out of this house, because that's the way a parent really teaches their children. I'm telling you. They have to stand tough sometimes with their kids, but I'm telling you, that's the way to handle it. My father has done this when I was growing up. I have a great, great father, great mother, very great parents, and there was a time where I was having problems when I was younger, and they pretty much warned me on that. Got me straight like that. Scared me to death. But, guys, anything else tonight?
I'm good.
Nope, no, I'm good.
All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. I will definitely be back on tomorrow. I haven't been on in a while. There's not been a lot to talk about because it's the same old, but now we're fighting. And we're going to continue this. We're going to keep this up. I'm going to be out here probably almost every night to every other night. You'll see me out there. Go to my TikTok videos. They're out there as well. I'll get them posted on the website probably in the next few days. I've got somebody who helps me on the website. I'll talk with this gentleman and see if he can help me out. And again, as we always say, God bless you. God bless America. Thank you and have a great night. And check out the podcast, www.just-commonsense.com. Email me, share my word, get out there, share my YouTube podcast, and take care and God bless you and have a great time. Great night. Thank you.